What's up YouTube, it's Spreadsy and welcome back to another video. So in today's video I'm going to go over the best guns in Call of Duty Mobile of Season 9. If you guys do go to enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like, and if you're new here, subscribe. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so moving on to the number 5 spot, here we have the KM44, which is this gameplay right here. And if you didn't know, it was one of the best guns like last season and the season before that. So let's just jump right into the gunsmith and let's just see what attachments that we do have for this weapon. Okay, so here we have it in the gunsmith, so let's just have a real quick look at the stock for this weapon. Alright, so moving on to the stock, as you can see here, we do have the YKM light stock. But personally, I would get the MIP strike stock, and that's just because the strike stock is a lot better than the YMK light stock. Anyway, let's move it straight to the actual laser for this weapon. Okay, so moving on to the laser, as you can see here, I do have the RTC laser, but I would personally recommend getting the OWC laser as it is better. Anyway, let's move straight into the underbarrel. Alright, so moving on to the underbarrel, I do have strike foregrip, and this one I do actually recommend just using strike foregrip, as it does have way more advantages than disadvantages, so I would recommend using strike foregrip. Anyway, let's move straight into the ammunition for this weapon. Okay, so as you can see here, I do run the 44 round extended mag, but it's down to personal preference, so I prefer the 44 round extended mag, but it's up to you. So let's move straight to the grip for this weapon. Alright, and then we have stipple grip type, which I do recommend using for every single weapon that you do have, just putting on stipple grip type. Anyway, let's move straight into the number 4 spot. Alright, so moving on to the number 4 spot, we do have a weapon that was released in Season 8, which was the last season, and is the DRH. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the gunsmith for this weapon. Alright, so here we have it in the gunsmith, so let's just have a real quick look at the stock for this weapon. Alright, so here we have it in the stock, and we do have the YKM light stock again, but I do recommend using the actual MIP stock again, as it is one of the best stocks. So let's just move straight into the laser for this weapon. Okay, so moving on to the laser, I do have the RTC laser again, but I do recommend putting on the OWC laser, as the OWC is the best laser. Anyway, let's move straight into the underbarrel for this weapon. Alright, so moving on to the underbarrel, I do recommend strike foregrip again, and not using any other one, as the strike foregrip is the most beneficial one. Anyway, without further ado, let's move straight into the ammunition for this weapon. Okay, so moving on to the extended mag, we do have 30 round extended mag, and I do recommend that one, as 38 round does minus the IDS speed as well. So 30 round is definitely perfect. So let's just move it straight into the grip type for this weapon. Okay, so moving on to the actual grip type for this weapon, I have stippled grip type again, which is the best grip type that you can actually get, and it is the first grip type you get. Anyway, let's move straight into number 3 on this list. Alright, so moving on to number 3 on this list, as you can see here is the actual QQ9 slash MP5. It was released in Season 7, which is like 2 seasons ago, and it's a pretty all-round decent weapon, and it was one of the best SMGs. Anyway, let's move straight to the gunsmith for this weapon. Okay, so here we have it in the gunsmith, so let's just have a real quick look at the stock for this weapon. So as you can see here, we do have the YKM light stock again, but I would recommend using the MIP stock, as it is the best stock. Anyway, let's move straight to the laser for this weapon. Alright, so moving on to the laser, we do have the RTC laser, but then again I would recommend using the OWC laser again. So let's just move straight to the underbarrel for this weapon. Okay, so here we have strike foregrip again, and that's just because it's the best foregrip again, so it just has the most beneficial things. Anyway, let's move straight into the actual ammunition for this weapon. Alright, so moving on to the actual ammunition for this weapon, as you can see here is 45 round extended mag, and that is the best ammunition really for this weapon, I personally believe. So let's just move straight to the stippled grip type. Okay, so moving on to the grip type, as you can see here, it is stippled grip type again, and this is the best grip type. You'll see a pattern throughout this video with the stippled grip type. Anyway, let's move straight into number 2. Okay, so here we have number 2, which is the DLQ, which is just a sniper rifle, pretty decent weapon. It's been pretty decent throughout the whole game. So let's just jump right into the gunsmith of this weapon. Okay, so here we have the DLQ in the gunsmith. So if we just go ahead and jump right into the stock, as you'll be able to see here, the MIP stock is one of the best stocks for this weapon, and it is the best stock for this weapon, so I do recommend the MIP stock. But then I do believe you do get the skeleton stock at the start, so I would put that one on, but really want the MIP stock. Just move straight to the perk for this weapon. Alright, so here we have the perk for this weapon, which is sleight of hand. Unfortunately, it's not sleight of hand pro, because I don't believe sleight of hand pro is in this game. But it's just sleight of hand, so you will get that extra reload speed. So without further ado, let's move straight into the laser for this weapon. Alright, so moving over to the laser sight, and the one and only laser sight is the OWC laser sight. It's just for that extra ADS speed and that just kind of ADS assistance. So let's just move straight over to the actual ammunition for this weapon. Okay, so moving on to the actual ammunition for this weapon, as you can see here, it is extended mag. Pretty average. I don't recommend putting on the other extended mag, as it does actually lose ADS speed. Anyway, let's jump right into the number 1 spot on this list. Right, and the number 1 spot on this list is the cordite, you guys might have guessed. So let's just jump straight into the stock for this weapon. Alright, so diving straight into the stock for this weapon, as you can see, I've got the MIP stock, which is the best stock for the weapon. I do recommend using this one. Just kind of progressively add your stock. Anyway, let's move straight into the actual laser for this weapon. Okay, so moving on to the laser, we have the OWC laser, which is the best laser you can actually get, and it's the last laser you do get. So yeah, anyway, let's move straight into the underbarrel for this weapon. Alright, so moving on to the actual foregrip for this weapon, as you can see, is OWC foregrip, which I believe is the last foregrip that you do actually unlock. So yeah, anyway, let's move straight into the ammunition for this weapon. Okay, and the ammunition is 90 round extended mag. Pretty normal. I do just like the 90 round, just because I do quite like some extra bullets. So yeah, anyway, let's move straight into the actual grip for this weapon. Okay, so moving on to the grip, we do have stippled grip type, which is the best grip type you do get, and I believe it is the first. So yeah, pretty much that's been really it for me, guys. I do hope that you did enjoy the video. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to drop a like, and if you're new here, subscribe. And yeah, that's been it for me, guys. And yeah, peace.